Hello and welcome to the list demonstration video. And so I hope that you've been having a lot of success in your journey so far. And so this is the acronyms video, right? So what we're going to do is go through the two that I've given you for homework. Now in the activity, I actually gave you, it's a list of 12 separate things in the zodiac. Okay, so let's do the Western zodiac first. Now, apart from making up the stories, I'm going to run you through the demonstration of what I do. And so what I do is actually, I will use two things. Number one is I'll use location, right? And then number two is I'll use the acronyms to then create smaller versions. So in the list that I gave you, I actually gave you three words, three words, three words, three words. So it's 4 rows of 3 words. Now in this example, it's actually quite nice because that means that I can just group them together. So if I do this, like what I'm going to do is do ATG, CLV, LSS, CAP. Now, the point that we need to be careful of is obviously mixing up. There are 2 C's, there's 2 S's, there's 2 L's, there's 2 A's. So we need to be careful. Is it Scorpio? Is it Sagittarius? Is it Libra or is it Leo? Is it Cancer or is it Capricorn? So that's what we need to be careful of. But allow me to say this. I already know, because I'm Scorpio, I know the one before me and I know the one after me. And so there's always going to be one that you know. My dad was Aquarius, so I know that his birthday comes at a certain point as well. And so I can remember those based on my experience. And so ask yourself, who are the people in your lives and what is their experience? Now, going through this, ATG for me is squatting ass to grass, or sorry, if you're American, ass to grass. Now that just means that when people actually do exercise and they go down, they bend their knees and they squat with weight on their back, they can actually touch their ass to the grass, okay? Because they do a full depth range of motion squat. So for me, ATG, ass to grass, right? Then CLV, you can think of clavicle. So with my experience in Spanish, clave means key. And so I think, fine, clave, CLV, right? So squatting ass to grass is the key, it's the clave, right? To what? So the next one is LSS, so I think of less, okay? Less, and then CAP is going to be cap. So I can just imagine less baseball caps. Okay, fine. So ass to grass is the clave to less caps, okay? So if I go through that, the less for me is the one I know because I am in the middle. So pay attention to the middle ones, or whichever one you have more of a connection with, more experience with, more of an inspiration to remember. So for me, the LSS, Scorpio is mine, and I remember that. The one after Scorpio is Sagittarius. So straight away, I'm not going to mix up the S's. The L for me, I know that my brother's birthday is in the the period before me, so that's Libra. So I'm not going to mess it up with clave. The L that's in clave I know is Leo, all right? And then moving on from that, I know that after Sagittarius we have, the less and then cap, CAP. This is the one that's the danger for me. Is that Capricorn or is that Cancer? So for me, I can remember that maybe Capricorn comes after Sagittarius, and both of those are very similar animals. They're the hoofed animals, for example, whereas Cancer is the claws. So I think about Cancer being claws. It can also be clave, so like maybe a crab sticking its claws into a lock. Okay, so just remembering it in that way. What do I have? I've got ass to grass, clave, less cap. All right, so that's going to be Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Right, ass to grass. Clave will be Cancer, Leo, Virgo. After that, it's going to be Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. And the final one, Cap, is going to be Capricorn. And also remember, Cap and Capricorn sounds the same. Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. Boom. Nice and easy. So the second part I'm actually just going to do with you. I haven't actually prepared anything, so you must remember that. I haven't prepared anything with these, and you're seeing me do them live. Okay. So the next one is going to be the Eastern ones. So again, I'm taking them on the system of grouping them together in groups of 3s because that's what my brain is comfortable with. And remember that if you want to improve your brain's functioning, you want to be able to group things together. In the beginning, you need to isolate each point. But there actually comes a point where your brain enjoys grouping things together. And so I would invite you to group things together here because it would be easier with this many things as well. In this example here, I've got rat, ox, and tiger. That spells out rot. And then after that, I've got R, D, and S for snake. So a rabbit, a dragon. Then we've got horse, goat, monkey, which is HGM. And then after that, rooster, dog, pig. So for me, it's easy to remember, again, I am the rooster. So that final one, rooster, dog, pig, that's easier to remember for me because I'm the rooster. To go for the first one, if I'm going for the first group, it spells out the word rot. So I remember like rats, they like rotten things. So rat is the first one. And then the O is the only one with an O, and the T is the only one with a T. So that's rat, ox, tiger. Now the next one, I think of Robert Downey Jr. And so Robert Downey Jr., sometimes his name is made smaller into like RD, RDJ, Robert Downey Jr. So for me, I think of Robert Downey Jr. with a snake, RD, snake. Okay, Robert Downey's snake. So it can be really rude if you wanted to. It's more memorable, that's fine. So rot, Robert Downey's snake. After that, you've got HGM. Now, typically, I think of H.G. Wells, the guy who wrote War of the Worlds, H.G. Wells. So Wells is a W, we just put it as an M. So H.G. Wells, War of the Worlds, so it's HGM, okay? Which is horse, goat, monkey. And then after that, we've got my one, which is RD, again, Robert Downey, but this time with pig. So you can imagine that Robert Downey, after the War of the Worlds, his snake changed into a pig, okay? So there's two with RD. So we need to be careful of that. So if I go through it again, it is going to be rot, and rats like rotting stuff. So it's rat, ox, and tiger. All right. The next one is Robert Downey's snake, which is RD and snake. And so the R and the D stands for rabbit and dragon. So if you want to do that in another way, because remember that we've got a couple of R's, we've got 3 different R's. So the first one, rot and rat, that's easy. But how do you remember that this one is rabbit? So perhaps you can imagine that if you had a snake, you would feed it rabbits, which, you know, is quite appalling, but it means that it's more memorable as well. So Robert Downey Jr. feeding his snake a rabbit. So it's rabbit, dragon, and snake. The next one then is going to be H.G. Wells, but I remember HGM. And so that's horse, goat, and monkey. And then after that, we have mine, which is Robert Downey pig, which is rooster, dog, pig. Okay. So once again, I would run through these systems in my mind in a couple of hours' time. So just to refresh the memory a little bit later, give my brain a chance to forget everything. Try and forget it and bring it back today, and then try and forget it and bring it back tomorrow after sleep. Okay. And once again, check out the space repetition system video at the end of this module. And yeah, happy studies.